Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Minouche van den Berg and I'm the Marketing Manager for AOPEN Europe. I would like to welcome you all for this live web seminar in which we will discuss our commercial Chrome devices. For the first part of this webinar, Eric Sira, our Business Development Manager Europe and Channel Sales Manager for the Benelux, will provide us with an overview of the current product portfolio of AOPEN. Eric will also provide us with an answer to the question, why AOPEN commercial Chrome devices? So what is the strength of commercial grade? After Eric's presentation, we will go through with a quick Q&A. For the people who entered this webinar via the Zoom program, you can ask your questions by clicking the button in your lower screen. For the people who entered this webinar via the GoToWebinar program, you can use the chat function. After the Q&A with Eric, we will proceed to the second part of this webinar. For the second part, we invited a special guest speaker. Ruben van der Stok, who is a lead sales engineer at Google for Work, will provide us with a live demonstration of the Chrome device management. After the live demonstration, we will also do a quick Q&A with Ruben. As I already mentioned, please don't hesitate to ask any questions you have. In case we end up with too many questions, we won't be able to answer them all during this webinar, but we will always provide you with an answer. We will provide it in this webinar or afterwards via email. For now, I would like to hand over to Eric, and for me, there's not much more to say than enjoy watching.
Hi all, thank you for joining this webinar about AOPEN Chrome devices, and Minouche, thank you for the brief introduction. I will first walk through the agenda for today. First, I will give us a quick talk about AOPEN. Afterwards, we will talk about the world of digital signage is changing and what are the Chrome devices for work in general. Then we will discuss the topic why AOPEN commercial Chrome devices, and at last we will tell a little bit more about the specs related to AOPEN Chrome devices. Next topic is about AOPEN. AOPEN is an electronics manufacturer for small form factor computing designed for 24/7 usage. Probably you all know we are a highly qualified supplier in the digital signage market, and we're certified by the leading digital signage software vendors. We exclusively work via distribution and partner channel, and we have a high level of knowledge in our market. This is an overview about AOPEN, and we are part of a big group called the Pan-Acer Group. Within the Pan-Acer Group, we have three main divisions we can call. The Acer Group itself, BenQ, and Wistron, and AOPEN is part of the Wistron Group. We are globally represented, so we have offices in several locations. Our HQ is based in Taiwan, and of course we have regional site offices all over the world. So you can see in Europe, North America, Japan, China, and Australia. The world of digital signage is changing. What we've seen the last couple of years is that the adoption of HTML5 technology is really getting into the market. We see a lot of cloud-based solutions that were based on HTML5 technology, and also a lot of people are requesting HTML5 technology. For example, and that's what I mentioned in the second spot, there's more influence about for marketing departments on digital signage projects because they are more in the lead nowadays. And those marketing departments are commonly using online tools and are used to work with HTML5. So we see a more integration between the online and the offline world in that part. We also see there's more, digital signage is getting more focused on customer interaction. So I think since 2007 we have a new type of mobiles with touchscreens, and people expect more to explore via touchscreens, also in store or in other environments. So that's one part of customer interaction, and the other part of customer interaction has to do with engaging people in store via mobile technologies and connecting those technologies to digital signage networks. Another important change, in our opinion, is that it has to be easy to manage digital signage networks. And it's getting more important because the TCO, the total cost of ownership, is a very important issue, and the cost of network operations have to drop down. So that are some major changes, in our opinion, in the current industry. What has changed since, I could say, last year? Of course, there are a lot of different solutions in our market, and we see since the introduction of the Chrome devices, Chrome OS and Chrome Management Console, that it's getting easier because Chrome, and especially the Chrome Management Console, makes things more scalable, more flexible, and easy to manage. So that means that the TCO gets lower because you don't need a lot of IT staff to manage a digital signage network, to do implementations and things like. So it's also based on HTML5 technology, and as I explained before, a lot of marketing and people who work online are used in HTML5. HTML5 is getting cheaper from a rollout point of view because a lot of people have skills to design and program in HTML5. So the pool of people in HTML5 is also more. That means pricing for people that can develop on those kind of platforms getting less. So what are Chrome devices for work? Chrome devices for work and education are fast, secure and cost-efficient computers that run the Chrome OS operating system. They are manageable via Chrome Device Management Console. I will not try to explain too much because Ruben van der Stok later on will give a more explanation about the Chrome Management Console and Chrome OS, but I will try to keep it short. So if we talk about devices, every Chrome device has to be certified by Google. So that means there's also one version of the OS for every Chrome device. That makes it very easy because you're not working with different levels of OSs and drivers, etc. So one OS for each, or for Chrome devices. Another important thing about the devices is that the devices are very reliable. And that has to do, on one hand, with the operating system. I will come back to that one later. And with the fact that the devices don't have any moving parts. So less moving parts means that less things can go wrong with a device. Another topic is that every Chrome device has a redundant copy of the OS. So we have an original OS on the device and we have let's say, a redundant copy of the OS. That means at the moment that something goes wrong, and probably Ruben will explain this more, the device is able to put a restore OS on the device, so the device is entirely new again. So we're going to take a look a little bit more about the operating system itself. The Chrome OS operating system is free to manufacturers, so this means it minimizes cost of the devices, because on regular devices often you have to pay for an OS. In this case the OS is for free. Every 6 weeks the system will be updated. So Google, if it's connected to the CDM, the Chrome Device Management, will update every 6 weeks. And the version of the Chrome devices is on all the devices same as mentioned in the last slide. They work with 3 different OS versions. You have a stable release that is running on every device worldwide. You have a beta release and you have a development mode. And so you are able to put those systems in different modes via the Chrome Management Console to manage updates and see what's happening with the application before you update it to the stable release version. As well, it's a very secure OS. There is multi-level security. You have continuous updates provided by Google. There works in sandboxes, meaning that different applications cannot communicate with each other. And it has encrypted and verified boot via the TPM chip. So the next slide is about the management and the management console. I won't talk too much about this, but it's a very important feature about the total solution that Google provides together with the OEM manufacturers of devices. It's a one console for all your devices. That means you can manage AOPEN devices, but also devices from other manufacturers. For example, you have a corporate environment with a lot of desktop users, but also digital signage. You can manage both devices, both applications in the same management console. You can also configure all kind of policies. And I think there are approximately 250 different policies you can manage in the Chrome Management Console. There is a possibility to do monitoring and notification about CPU load, about storage, and it's possible to do remote troubleshoot. So you can do a screen grab or you can do a remote reboot of the device. The last part is about the flexibility. Because the Chrome OS is based on HTML5, it's very flexible using with all kinds of HTML5 applications. And we already discussed that the market is going more to HTML5 and there's more requests on HTML5 content as well. Another very important thing to mention is that Chrome devices support a wide range of USB devices. All HID compliant USB devices are able to work on the Chrome OS. And we, with AOPEN, support RG50. That means you can add on peripherals to the devices, like scanners. It's one platform, and you have different use cases via the management console. That means you have a mode for kiosk mode, used for digital signage market, but you also have a public session mode used for other circumstances. Ruben will explain a little bit more about the different modes you have in the Chrome OS and via CDM. So why AOPEN commercial Chrome devices? Of course, each device that's produced in the market has a certain purpose. So we can say devices are purpose-built. And that's exactly the same for AOPEN commercial Chrome devices. They're built for specific application markets. So we can talk about the few application markets where we can position the products. It's the digital signage market, of course, a well-known market for AOPEN, and the kiosk market. The point of sale market, and it has to do with the fact that our Chrome-based solutions have some certain I/O ports that are suitable to use in this market. So in general, you could say each 24/7 application or application where you need a ruggedized device is suitable for an AOPEN Chrome device. So the strength of commercial grade. Commercial grade means that it's more industrial built. And in that case, the AOPEN devices are, of course, completely solid state, like each Chrome device. The big difference in this case is that we have fanless devices. And that's a quite unique feature. So because it's fanless, it's more reliable, it doesn't attract any dust, and it's more reliable in the application markets like digital signage, like kiosk, like POS market. So really built for 24/7 usage. AOPEN Chrome devices are engineered for durability. And what makes it different than a regular Chrome device? And that's, I think, important to mention. So we already discussed that it's more ruggedized and designed for 24/7 usage. And I explained that it's a fanless system. And that's one of the unique features as well of our AOPEN Chrome devices. Another important topic, and that is specifically important for the kiosk or the digital signage market, is that we have external long-range Wi-Fi antennas. And why is this important? We know from our experience in the market that media players, or in this case AOPEN commercial Chrome boxes, are put behind screens or in kiosks. And there is most of the times limited reach because of there are metals surrounding the device from the mounting bracket or the screen itself, or in the wall itself there are metal parts. And this has effect on the Wi-Fi range. So that's the reason why you have external antennas, to get a very good Wi-Fi reception for our devices. Another important thing in commercial environments is that we have a secure power connector. And it sounds like a very small feature, but it's very important, because what you don't want is that in a retail environment, a customer pulls out the power and the device doesn't start up again. So that's also a very important thing to know. Another thing is that we have an internal circuit and PSU protection, that the system cannot blow up. Of course, everything can be broken, but it's much more reliable in this case than regular Chrome devices. And we have selectable powered RG50 ports for serial communication of commercial applications. And this is only available on the Chrome base, and that means you can connect a small printer or a scanner to the Chrome base. It even has powered ports, and that means you can set it on 5 or 12 volt output. So on this slide we have another few topics why the AOPEN Chrome box is different. AOPEN Chrome boxes have a standard auto power resumption. This is very handful and useful in retail environments, because in retail environments, a lot of times at the end of the day, people shut down the power of the building, and in the morning they will put the power on again. With auto power resumption, the unit will start up as soon as it gets power, and via using the Chrome management console and enable the unit in the kiosk mode, it will start up, boot automatically, go through the credential phase and start up a full screen application. Another topic, it's an ultra slim form factor, so it can easily fit behind screens, and that makes it more suitable for digital signage applications, because our wall mount is often very thin and our unit has a thickness of 2.5 centimeters, so it can easily fit. It also has anti-shock and vibration protection. That could be useful in transportation applications like buses or other different applications in the transportation market. Because we tested it on AG and it still works. So very important to know, that's quite different than regular Chrome devices. It as well has a continuous operating at 50 degrees. Standard operating temperature with a standard power adapter is 40 degrees. We have a separate power adapter for heavy duty that can support up to 50 degrees of operating temperature. Also mounting brackets are included for the Chrome box, so you can easily mount it on the wall, and we will show them later on in this webinar. A very important thing as well, the standard warranty we have is 3 years, and it's extendable up to 5 years. This is also the reason that we have this is that we believe in the reliability of our product, so we easily can say we can support a 3-year warranty as a standard. So now we're going to tell a little bit more about AOPEN Chrome devices and the specifications about the AOPEN Chrome devices. First of all, the Chrome box commercial and the Chrome-based commercials have a similar CPU, storage and memory. From CPU point of view, we use an Intel N2930 CPU. It's a quad-core CPU. It's a Bay Trail variant. For memory, we use 4 GB of memory. In this case, we use 2 × 2 GB because that helps to get the performance even better than using 1 × 4 GB. And for storage, we have a 32 GB SSD in the system. So as already discussed, the AOPEN Chromebox commercial is an ultra slim ruggedized design chassis, and it is from SECC metal, so it's rust proof, so very important for those ruggedized environments. We have a heatsink on top of the system, and that makes it possible that we can have a fanless system, because the heatsink ensures that all the heat is getting out of the system. Dust proof, of course, because we have a unibody design. As already discussed, shock and vibration resistant. And also in this system we have a RG50 connector with an additional cable to support RS-232. So you can have communication with a screen or with something else based on RS-232 commands. This is something you have to program in the application, of course. We have a VESA mounting interface for the system, so we have additional accessories to mount it to a screen, and it's of course designed for the 24/7 operation. So here we have a quick overview of all the specifications, the design of the system, and also all the I/O ports of the system. So now we'll take an actual Chromebox commercial. As you can see, it's a very thin and flat system. It's a fanless system, and it's already able to put the antennas on it, the additional antennas. So it's very easy to screw them on. It's not a matter of screwing, even I can do this. And this is how it looks like. The very important feature I mentioned before is that we have an additional power clamp. And with the power clamp you can lock the power cable to the system. It's a very small clamp, and what's able to do is that you can put it over the power adapter, stick it into the box and lock it via a small screw on the box. The last important thing is that we have L-shaped brackets, and those are also included in the box to mount the system to a wall. So you can easily mount them via some screws on the system itself, and we have for both sides, one bracket, and then you can easily screw it to the wall. So that's all included in our Chromebox Commercial package. So the last product we have is the AOPEN Chrome-based Commercial. The Chrome-based Commercial is a 22-inch all-in-one device. So that means that it has an integrated CPU or an integrated player, as you can say. It's a touchscreen and it's a full HD panel. And the front of the panel is IP54, so it's water resistant. The thickness of the panel itself in total is 33.6 millimeters, so it's very thin and easily in that way to mount, and has a very nice design. We have some hidden system controls, so for the commercial usage, so you cannot put it on or off by itself. You need a small pin to put it on or off. A very important, as we mentioned earlier, is that it has the 4 RG50 connectors for peripherals. So you can set the voltage in the system via some additional kit with RG50 connectors in different colors, and each color represents a certain voltage. This is something we have as an additional accessory. With the RG50 you can connect scanners, printers or other different peripherals, and the reason why we use RG50 is that you don't need any additional power adapters. So the complete solution makes it easier for maintenance. It has a built-in camera and speakers and microphone, and of course we have a fanless design for the Chrome base. Here you can see a small overview about the Chrome-based Commercial 22-inch. Also that we have a dual Wi-Fi antenna internally, and it's on the top of the device, so you don't need an additional external antenna in this case. So the Chrome-based Commercial as well has an HDMI output, and with this HDMI output you can add an additional screen. So what's important in this case, and it's the same with the Chromebox Commercial, has 2 different outputs. If the application supports dual output, then you can use it. If the application only supports single output, then it's not usable. But in any way, you could say, I will use this in a kiosk with an interactive application, and the second output you will use for an additional screen for some content on the top. From this slide, we skip to the slide with the I/O outlook of the Chrome-based Commercial. From the left to the right, you see the different, the several RG50 ports for the peripherals, some USB ports, the power connector. It supports 12 to 19 voltage, so also usable in transportation market. The HDMI output, some additional USBs and audio output. We have a cover to cover this, so again, for retail environments, it's easy to lock it down without that people can pull out some cables. So I'd like to thank you for joining this part of the webinar. We're going further with the Q&A, and I've already seen that we've received some questions from some participants. First question, I will take the easy one first. Is this webinar recorded and available afterwards? Yes, we will record this webinar, and we will share the link in the next couple of days to you all. So that one is solved. I see another question. Why would I use the Chrome solution? And I think that's a very good question of you guys. Of course, and I didn't tell a lot about it yet because it's more for Ruben van der Stok to tell. But with the Chrome solution, you are able via the Chrome Management Console to push applications to device. So it means that you can enroll a device first. You put in the credentials one time. You can ship the device to the customer. He plugs it into the network, and it will connect to the Chrome Device Management Console. From that point of view, if you already put the settings into the Chrome Device Management, it will push the application of this certain software vendor or what kind of application to the device automatically. So you don't have to do something like pre-imaging of systems. This will happen via the Chrome Management Console, and that makes it very easy to deploy and very cost efficient. I have another question. Is Wi-Fi a standard in the package? Wi-Fi is a standard thing in the Chromebox. So every Chromebox is built with Wi-Fi in it, as well Bluetooth 4.0. So you can use beacon technology, and it's based on Eddystone technology. So it's a standard in the product as well in the Chrome box as in the Chrome base. I see some other questions as well, but due to the time limit, we will skip those for now. If there are any other questions, please feel free to drop them, and we will come back to you via email later on. So I would like to thank you for watching this part of the webinar. I'm going to hand over to Ruben van der Stak from Google. Ruben will explain more about Chrome OS and Chrome Device Management Console. If there are any questions, feel free to drop. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Ruben, and I work as the lead sales engineer for Devices for Work. And what we do is basically drive adoption of Chrome and Android in the enterprise space. What I would like to do in the next half an hour is to talk you through Chrome OS and the Chrome Device Management Console and why it is a solution, an ideal solution for digital signage. Now, in order to do so, I just want to briefly touch upon 4 topics. First of all, the whole Chrome offering is based on 3 pillars. It's the operating system, working together with the devices, and managed through one central management console. Last but not least, I just want to talk about the use cases that we see with Chrome devices. So first off is the Chrome OS operating system. So when this was introduced, it was nothing more, nothing less than a piece of hardware with a Chrome browser on top of it. But actually, the whole new paradigm on this operating system basically allows us to start from scratch and build in some of these aspects by default. So first of all, if you look at Chrome OS, it's basically built on operating system called Chromium, which is completely open sourced, but is a product brought into the market. What we're doing from a Google point of view is basically providing all of the updates automatically to all of the devices. So this means that every 6 weeks, there's a new version of Chrome OS available for all Chrome devices, no matter if it's a small form factor or the large Chrome bases brought to you by AOPEN. So this really helps in order to make sure you're always on the latest and greatest in terms of operating systems. No imaging, no testing offsite, just basically all done automatically through Google. What we also took care of the security of the platform. Basically, if you look at every Chrome device has a TPM chip, Trusted Platform Module chip, which basically takes care of the encryption, but also the verified boot of the device. Basically meaning that if you're trying to get information out of the device, you simply won't be able to get that information if you don't have the right credentials to access that information. This also means that we take care of the sandboxing principle, basically disconnecting vulnerability applications from the hardware layer, only giving limited access to APIs on the device as well. Basically, if you find any security loophole, please make sure you claim the security bounty that we make available for ethical hackers. Last but not least, if you look at Chrome OS, and I said in the beginning that it's nothing more, nothing less than Chrome browser on a piece of hardware, but this allows you to run the most heavy and complex HTML5 application because basically Chrome supports those standards. But also Chrome device can be used in the form of a thin client, allowing access to virtual environment, for example, through, for example, Citrix Receiver for Chrome. The latest addition to the application landscape are Android applications. So since last year, you are able to run any Android application on top of a Chrome device, opening up lots of use cases, but also allows you to reuse any Android applications on top of the Chrome platform. If you look at the devices side, and I know Eric already talked about a lot about the AOPEN devices, but very keen to understand is very important to understand is that every device is certified by Google. And this certification basically means that we look at those devices, we know exactly what kind of hardware is running, but also if those devices require the standards or the requirements that we've put forward. So all of the devices are certified, basically meaning that Google knows exactly what kind of hardware is out there, making it very easy to make sure that the updates that we're providing every 6 weeks are running on those certified machines, so taking away a lot of testing from end users. There's a very wide variety of form factors, and AOPEN really produces some very nice industry-grade Chrome boxes and Chrome bases. Chrome box is basically a thin PC, a thin client like form factor. The Chrome base is a screen with Chrome OS built in. There's also the Chrome bit, which is basically an HDMI dongle you put into a screen and then acts as a Chrome device. And the last but not least, there's also the Chromebook, which is the laptop thin form factor for Chrome devices. As already mentioned, all of these devices have a trusted platform module which takes care of the verified boot principle, but also takes care of the hardware-backed encryption on those devices. Chrome is free, so it's open source. It's brought into the market through the OEMs. And basically what we're offering from a Google point of view is the cloud-based management console. The devices can be bought as is through distribution or through resellers. The Chrome device management console is something that we're offering from a Google point of view through resales and distribution. What is it? It's basically a web-based management console that allow you to really control all of the aspects of Chrome devices. This is a one console, so there's only one console you need to log into, in which you can manage users, applications, the hardware, the behavior of the hardware from that console, no matter what kind of hardware you're running. So basically allowing you to manage all Chrome devices. What you're able to do is configure all of the critical device policies. These device policies can be attached to a user. So when a user logs in, he will get all of his applications, all of the environment pre-provisioned for him, or can be done on the device level, basically changing the behavior of the Chrome device through the Chrome device management console. Last but not least, and very interesting for the digital signage environment, is that you're able to monitor and do some sort of notification as well when devices go down, but also retrieve information from the device centrally. In order to manage a Chrome device, you basically need to enroll the Chrome device into the management console, and then all of the aspects on the device can be managed. I will go into a demo later on, so you have a good overview of what the capabilities are. But what I definitely wanted to point out are the use cases with Chrome devices, and there are roughly 3 scenarios that we see for Chrome devices. Basically, the logged-in user experience, so a user gets Chromebox, Chromebase, Chromebit, Chromebook, and is able to log into that machine, get all of his applications and settings pushed to that device. There's the non-logged-in user experience, or public sessions as we call them. It's basically allowing you to go to a machine, start a session, pre-provision that session with applications, bookmarks, wallpapers, and so on. Once the user hits exit session, all of the user-generated content is wiped from that device. Think of airport lounges or in-store computing for your customers. Last but not least, you're also able to set up a single application mode on these devices, basically configuring one application to be run on that machine without any user interaction. So once you boot the device, it will go straight into that application and show the content. Think of digital signage players, but also interactive applications that require touch or any form of input can be used with those devices. That's it for the slideware. Let's jump into the demo. So what we'll do right now is let's log into the management console. This is web-based, so there's no on-site or server components in this game. The only thing I need is a username and a password, and I'm able to jump into the configuration. So in this case, I'm logging in with my demo account, which is called Devices for Work. And filling out the right credentials gives me access into the admin panel. So what I'm able to do within the admin panel is set up user environment, set up a device environment, but also get a full overview of my device's estate. So what I will do right now is go into device management. And as you will see, you're able to manage Chrome devices and also Chrome devices for meetings, should you be interested. In order to manage Chrome devices, I'll jump into Chrome management. And here you can see all of the types of configurations that you're able to set up. If you remember the 3 use cases, so user logged in environment, non-logged in user environment, and single application mode. So for the first use case, so logged in user mode, you're able to set up user settings from within this console. And these user settings are basically roughly 2 components. One is the application layer, so providing the applications to those users, but also limiting whitelisting, blacklisting applications to those users. So you can have a very open environment, but also a very locked down environment for those users. So once I logged in, I will get all of these settings that are applied to my user. There's about 200 different policies, so I won't go over them. But as said, applications, but also the browser behavior are the 2 main components within those user settings. The second use case that we see with Chrome devices are public session settings. And basically what you're able to do there is within those public session settings, you are entitled to set up applications and browser behavior for that specific public session, but also have a session display name, maximum user length, terms of services, avatars, and so on for that specific public session. Last but not least, and this is the main interest for this webinar, is setting up a device in a single application kiosk. And let me go a bit more into detail into those settings. In order to manage a device, you enter the device settings. You select the specific organizational unit for this specific use case. And what you're able to do here is control the enrollment. As said, in order to make sure that you manage a device, you need to enroll the device within the admin panel. This can be done using a username that is known within that environment, within that admin panel. You are able to control some of these security aspects from within the management console. Forced re-enrollment, for example, means that if someone steals a Chrome device that is within your shops or within your premises, with forced re-enrollment, you disable the means in order to completely wipe a device and use it as a clean device. So in this case, the device will remain 100% under control of the organization. Basically, brick it if you don't have any username or password for that particular device. Within Chrome OS, you're also able to disable a device instantaneously. So this basically means that if you hit the disable button for a specific device, the device will be bricked within seconds. Of course, you can also re-enable a device once the device is retrieved as well. I skipped the sign-in settings because they are more focused on the user signed-in use case. But the device update settings are an interesting topic as well to discuss. As said, Chrome OS, a new version every 6 weeks. A new version is available every 6 weeks. This can cause, of course, some interference with applications running on top of Chrome OS because we're introducing new features and functions and do some changes perhaps on Chrome OS level. Because every 6 weeks, the changes are not dramatically big, but they're more incremental. But surely you want to control the auto-update settings on the devices. First of all, you can completely switch off the auto-updates. So in this case, you will stop auto-updates for all of the devices within this organizational unit. We from Google, we don't recommend this setting because you'll basically miss out on new features and functions, but also security patches won't go through on those devices. What you're able to do instead is restrict restrict the devices to a certain version. So currently we're at version 50 in stable. What you're able to do is, okay, all of these devices within this organizational unit can only go up to version 49, for example. Do all of the testing, then release this new version, and all of the devices will automatically update as well. The update process is fairly straightforward. You don't have to do anything. All of the devices will retrieve its updates automatically, but there are 3 options to get that update. One is directly over the internet. This means that the device needs to be connected to the internet to get its update. Secondly, you can also proxy the update, so making the update available within your own network. And thirdly, Chrome devices can also act as a peer-to-peer update mechanism. So basically, if one device retrieves the update, it can act as a peer-to-peer server for all other Chrome devices within the network. Of course, within digital signage, you also want to control the auto-reboot after updates. If you received an update, you want to make sure that the device won't reboot during retail shopping hours, for example. An interesting aspect as well is Google releases earlier versions of Chrome OS as well. So there's the development version, which is the stable version +2. There's this beta version, which is the current version +1, and of course the stable version, which is the current supported version. We always recommend to have a small percentage of players or devices run in a beta mode, because then you're able to test out the behavior of the new version of Chrome OS with software. This is also the exact same versions that developers get for their applications, and of course this is very interesting if you're looking at digital signage applications. Okay, so we've set up the auto update settings for these devices. What we're dealing with kiosk settings, or what we're doing with kiosk settings, is basically controlling the behavior of a Chrome device. By default, a Chrome device will boot and will prompt you with a user login screen. If you're controlling or configuring the device to go into allow public session kiosk, it will skip the user login option. But what you're doing as an extra is auto-launch a kiosk application. So auto-launch a kiosk application basically is auto-launch, is skipping the login procedure, is skipping the start a session screen, is instead immediately going into that specific kiosk application. Let's look at how to manage these kiosk applications. If you click on Manage Kiosk Applications, you will see the 3 sources in which you can select kiosk applications from. So the first one is the Chrome Web Store, which is the publicly available Chrome applications that you can select. The second one is you can also have a subset of domain applications, basically hosting these applications in the Chrome Web Store, but only making them available for your organization only. Should you wish not to want to deploy or host your applications within Google, you can also specify a URL and an ID to your own internal systems. So the Chrome devices will not retrieve the application from the Chrome Web Store, but basically retrieving the application internally as well. Hit Save, you will see all of the available kiosk applications. Once you've selected a kiosk application, you will also see that different options will become available. First of all is device health monitoring, so the monitoring capabilities of the device. So the device will send a heartbeat to the Chrome device management and allows you basically to see what kind of devices are up or offline. Secondly, you can also retrieve system upload logs from the device as well. So the device will upload these logs into the Chrome device management console. Notification settings. So we basically allow administrators to receive alerts through an email or through an SMS. And in this section, you can add the email addresses and phone numbers as well. The SMSs are basically for as well. Next to that, you're also able to retrieve state reporting from the devices as well. So in this case, it will get you information on the hardware itself, like for example, memory usage, disk space, but even the heat of the processor can be retrieved from the device as well. And you can also get notifications in terms of inactive devices. For example, if you roll out a few devices to different stores, but you see that stores haven't actually physically installed them or haven't been used the device, you can really get a good overview on those inactive devices. Power and shutdown as well can be managed from the central management console. So you're basically able to set up whether a device can be switched off by a user, or you can schedule the reboot of a device as well from that perspective. So what we've done now is we basically set up a device to go into one single application mode and run as a digital signage example. So let's go to that device and enroll the device. So here we are at a 22-inch AOPEN Chrome base. So let's register and boot the device. So as we boot the device, you will see that the boot time is extremely short. Around about 8 seconds before the device shows you the login screen. So this is a completely wiped, clean Chrome base, and it prompts you with a username and a password. But instead of logging into the device, we're going to enroll this device to the management console. In order to do that, I tap Ctrl-Alt-E. It will give me the enrollment option, and I will log in with a specific user for that organizational unit. Fill out a password. And if everything goes well, you will see the notification that the device has been enrolled to the enterprise management. Once I hit finish, you will see straight away this device has been configured to run one single kiosk application. It will immediately do as it's being told. So it's now downloading it's doing the initial download of Chrome Sign Builder onto the device. Chrome Sign Builder will retrieve its contents and will start playing the content immediately. So I think within half a minute, we've set up a device to run a specific digital application. And in this case, it's just a YouTube video. So this is it for the demo with regards to the device. It's extremely simple to set up a device. Once you've set up the policies in the management console, you're basically ready to go once the device is registered.